I'm just not respected.
This is not your house.
Hey, come here. He's like a fucking child. He just wants the coffee. That is exactly what he was fucking pulling. Can you put it in between us? Oh, there you go. Little shit.
Bitch.
All right.
Hi.
Hi, and welcome back to the Dysfunctional Duo.
Starring? Starring me.
I thought you were going to say sorry.
Sorry.
Starring Spencer.
And Spencer. All right.
No, that was your cue to introduce me.
Oh, and that's Sarah.
We don't show any courtesy.
We don't talk
on this.
about Sarah.
We don't talk about Sarah. No.
Okay. Are you excited for today's topic?
Well, butter me up first. Ask me how I am.
Oh, okay. How are you? How are you? Who are you?
I'm okay. I'm currently experiencing...
She got tuberculosis.
I didn't get tuberculosis.
She's dying of consumption. She's a Victorian child.
We don't even know what's going on, but Leo and I, as of late, have been dealing with lung issues. We've just been having trouble. For me, it's getting a full breath. When I get a full breath, I want to cough and I wheeze. My lungs get wheezy. I wonder if it happens now. No, it's not happening right now. But it burns to take a full breath.
It burns?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. You need a oxygen tank.
What are those big things that they did for people who had tuberculosis?
Oh, those big breathing machines?
What was it called?
I don't know what they're called, but you need one.
Was it an iron lung?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. It's an iron lung.
I need an iron lung.
Damn, dude. And from what? Just the air quality?
I honestly don't know. We don't know. I'm terrified that we have mold in the house or something, but I don't know where we would have it.
Well, this is a newer house too.
Well, I found some of the silicone in our shower. That's the wall next to our bedroom. Mm-hmm. It was lifting a little bit, so water was kind of going underneath the silicone and into the tile.
Oh, shit.
But Leo has convinced me that they have measures in place to make sure that water damage isn't happening. And it shouldn't have happened for too long. I don't know. I spiral. When I start thinking about, I'm I have cancer. You know what I mean? I'm this is, I'll sneeze too many times and I'm this is cancer.
You most likely have an allergy to pollen because it's June.
Well, here's the thing. And this is, what's so frustrating is it's been one thing after another since the beginning of the year. I had my ear problem.
Yeah.
And now I have lung issues. And it's is this what becoming 30? Obviously I'm not 30 yet, but I don't know if it's obvious. Maybe I look
nah, bitch, you look 40.
I'm 60 years old. But sorry, I thought there was a person at my door. I'm is this what it will be like aging? This sucks. Is this what people tell us about when they go are you almost 30? And you're yeah. And they're just wait.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Fuck, dog? Are you kidding me? I haven't even had children yet, and I'm already feeling my body's not my own.
The difference between both sides of 25, the younger side of 25 and the older sides of 25, so the 26, 27s versus the 24s, 23s, is actually such a big difference.
I know. It's crazy.
We're both heading towards 28, so we still have 2 more years of our 20s. Or in
Honestly,
our 20s.
I'm at a point right now in my life where I forget how old I am.
I always forget that I'm old. I've kind of clocked myself at 25.
Honestly, I think I stopped feeling like I aged at 26.
Yeah. Most people say that once you turn 25, your brain's developed and you view the world differently.
Honestly, it makes sense though, because once your brain's done developing 25, other than life experiences and your physical aging, I know that a lot of people say that they feel they're in their 25, 26 years, that they stopped. Their body kept going, but in terms of
mental,
who they are, they still feel like a young person.
Oh, for sure.
Until they don't, and they're 85, and then they realize that
That's wild.
They go into like cardiac arrest and they're like, holy fuck, I'm old. They're like, how could this happen? I'm so young. And they're like, sir, you're 85.
You're 85. 85 is actually like kind of wild.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what an age. I don't think I felt older until I turned 26. Like, they say like it starts at 25, like that's when your brain's developed. I don't think I noticed it till 26.
I honestly still don't feel older. Although at the same time I do. Like, at my work, everyone is so much older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So much older. Like, I'm probably the youngest person. No, I'm not the youngest, but I'm up there at being like one of the youngest people in my company. And so people will be like talking about like early 90s or like the late 80s. And I'm like, yeah, it was great. I didn't
Loved
even
it.
fucking exist. Like,
Yeah. I was just a sperm.
I was just a sperm.
I was just sperm.
Sperm.
Swim.
So it's like, I feel like a child there, but then I'm like, I get out of bed and I'm like, oh God, my back. Like, there's just shit.
My knee, sometimes if I step wrong, my kneecap like shifts slightly out of place.
That's fucking
and you can feel it.
terrifying.
It hurts. And it happens to my dad too. My dad he's in his 60s. He's nearing 65. So he needs like a knee brace. I'm like, that's going to be me.
Oh my God, that's terrifying. Like, just one day your knee is going to give out?
Monday, my knee's just going to give out. And I'm just be like, okay, cool.
That's horrible.
I'll get like a
You're
plastic.
You're like a time bomb just waiting to go off.
Aren't we all?
Fair.
I'm just going to spontaneously combust at one point. I don't know when. I hope later. Not right now.
Definitely not now. How about, like, once you step foot out of my house, I'm cool with whenever it needs to be.
Step one, like 6 feet away from my house.
Yeah.
And then you can implode.
Yeah.
Word.
Literally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bet.
Just
I'll
so that
just scare
I'm
the
not
neighbors.
required to, like, manage the cleanup.
Speaking of cleanup, I went to a Michael's recently.
Wow. What a fucking segue. Can we just talk about that? That was crazy.
Because I was gonna say, like, oh, if like I implode, you can just leave me there for like a Halloween decoration. Like, how fun.
Michael's?
But I went to Michael's and it was full of Halloween decorations.
Already?
It's June. It's
Oh,
not
I
even
love
July
that.
yet.
Honestly, I think that's what's keeping my mental health alive, is the fact that autumn is so close, but yet so far away. And I keep getting these videos on my Instagram of Halloween videos and people like just sharing just the music. And I'm like, fuck, I need to feel alive again. I feel like so many people feel their best during the summer. Like, they're like, this is the season where I come to life.
Yeah.
I'm like the opposite. I hate the heat. I fucking hate the heat. We're in Canada and we're in the West Coast, so it's always smoky.
Yeah. It's dry heat.
And if it's not smoky, then it's raining, and then there's fucking mosquitoes everywhere.
Oh, and they're horrible.
Horrible. And I don't know, like, I like the summer. I love spring.
Mm-hmm.
And I love autumn. So, like, the minute the air gets a little cold and it starts smelling like autumn, like, fuck, my like endorphins come to life. I don't know what it is, but the summer just ain't. There's moments in the summer that I really like, but I find myself indoors a lot in the summer.
I have to agree with you, and I think this is probably somewhat that we're on the same page, but for most people it'd be very controversial because a lot of people look forward to the summer. You get out of winter.
Autumn is like one step away from it snowing again.
Exactly. People have, I think, seasonal depression in the sense that winter's the season that they get depression. Whereas the opposite, whereas like I think we strive more, not so much in like minus 30, but like I'm more likely to go out and do things during the autumn seasons than I am in the summer.
Yeah.
Because I hate the heat. I have a trip coming up to Arizona, Phoenix, which is a couple of friends, and we're only going for a couple nights, but the way it's going to be plus 40 and dude. I'm going to come back looking like Mr. Crab.
I had like my company just sent a bunch of our like team to Scottsdale, which is in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I was talking to one of my team members. Sorry, I don't know why I'm like so raspy. It's just like I'm dying.
She keeps smoking cigarettes.
It's a 10-pack a day rule, guys. She told me that the lowest it got was 37, and it was at 7 in the morning.
37?
Yeah.
It was the lowest.
Yeah.
I would actually just probably kill myself.
Yeah.
Like, no offense, but I can't.
You'll literally fucking melt.
I can't do that. I would overheat.
Yeah. Why are you going to Phoenix?
Just for fun. It's one of those like things where it's
Phoenix?
like
You're going to Phoenix for fun?
well, we had vouchers for an old airline that closed down. I don't remember. I think we might have been going to Vegas. Or we were going, I think we were going to go Kelowna, sorry. So we were going to go to BC last summer, but Kelowna was on fire. Hi, you just like
my
choked
mic
yourself up.
almost like fucking came for me. Sorry, continue.
So Kelowna was on fire, and then the airline that we booked it with like completely shut down, like doesn't exist.
What's the airline?
Ryanair?
What?
Yeah. It was like one of those cheap like
rain,
cardboard
but pronounced
planes.
Ryan?
Like Ryanair.
Ryan? There was a man named Ryan and he
But
decided
it was spelled like RYAIN or something. I don't know. It doesn't exist anymore.
Interesting.
So we got like vouchers essentially for like flying. So we just used that for.
Was it a certain amount?
Yeah.
Mm.
And like we only had so many choices.
You were going to fly to Kelowna and it got canceled. Kelowna's like, you could drive to Kelowna.
Well, we thought about driving, but like the other people in the party had like other things to do like that same weekend. Like their schedules like jam packed. So it was faster to fly there and then fly home. And it wasn't very expensive either. It was very cheap, which is why we ended up going to Arizona because it was like one of the only places that like was just as cheap to go to.
Shocker.
Yeah.
I've never been to Phoenix, but I've never heard people go like, I'm going to Phoenix. It's always like, I'm going to Phoenix. Like
that's kind of how I feel. I'm going to Phoenix.
I've never heard people be like, oh my God, I'm so excited to go to Phoenix. They're like, I'm going to Phoenix.
I'd rather go to Vegas, if I'm honest. But I've been there twice, so I'm kind of like, I should try something different.
I feel like I would like Vegas, but at the same time, I feel like I would be overstimulated because there's just so much.
Yeah, I mean, especially when it's your first time there, it is very overwhelming. But the more you go, the more you're just kind of like used to it. You know what you want. You know what you want to look at. You have like your shows booked. Like it's just it's a lot easier to manage. But definitely the first time going, I was just like, wow, wow. It's actually not at all what I was expecting either.
I'm honestly set on this idea. We talked about this, I think, our last episode. I'm honestly like set at some point, maybe next year, because I don't know, this year I'm like already planning so many trips, but like I really want to go to Salem with you.
Oh, I'd love to go to Salem. That's on my bucket list.
And I want to go like during Halloween.
Oh, that's like the only time you go. I don't think people go during like other times of the years unless they have like family that lives there.
Yeah. I would love to. Spencer and I have never taken a trip together.
We haven't, which is wild.
And I feel like Salem would be one of the best places to like
100%
pop that cherry.
Or
you know what I mean?
New Orleans. Because I heard
New Orleans scares me a little bit just solely because I've heard like horror stories of people like being like human trafficked in like New Orleans and stuff. But I also I spiral. So I'm like, do I want to go and just like risk it for the biscuit? Because New Orleans, in terms of like food and music and like the vibe, like
culture.
I don't know if I would want to go during like Mardi Gras, but like again, is it Halloween where they have like, they like celebrate
probably
the dead?
I actually don't know that. And if I had internet, I'd fact check it, but I don't.
Oh my God, Spencer.
It's okay. I don't need internet right now. But
you have your phone, you dummy.
Oh, it's over there.
Oh.
I don't know. I'll be so for real, Sarah. Nobody wants us. We're not worth human trafficking. Nobody wants us.
Shit. Okay, I'm already feeling quite low about myself, and that really just added.
Yeah, you're like, what do you mean they won't take me? I'm sorry. Am I not takeable?
I sent Spencer so many fucking memes of a specific clip in different captions, and it's always the two guys who are like laughing at like the wind's hitting them and they can't stop laughing, and it's always like when we get kidnapped and the
kidnapper like mispronounces a word and you can't stop laughing
I don't know
about
if I have
him.
my phone. Okay, grab your phone. I need to see what I send you because it's actually fucking hilarious.
Here you go. Monday, Tuesday. That's gonna get copyright. Jungkook, shout out. He doesn't watch this. His new album 7 is so good. Actually, like every single song, I'm like, this is a banger, and it reminds me of like early '90s music.
Does
like
he
the
also
Backstreet
sing
Boys.
"Standing Next to You"?
Yes.
Fuck, I don't know why. I can't explain it, but him in that video when he's fucking dancing, specifically during the interlude at the end, the way he fucking moves, I'm like, have my babies. You know what I mean? I'm like, and I'm not like attracted to him as like an individual, but when he dances, fucking like take my.
He is a very good looking young man. I will say that.
Sorry, I'm trying to find. I'm fucking hilarious. I send you some funny shit.
You do send me funny things.
I'm funny, man.
You do send me really funny things. But he is honestly like so attractive. I've known of him since like COVID.
I was like, you know him?
Yeah, I know. No, he would never. He wouldn't even like acknowledge me on the street. Like he is just too above me, and that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Is that an airplane? Did you hear that?
I think you're hearing things.
Maybe.
I don't hear anything besides myself, which is probably half the problem.
Okay, well, that one's not the same, but I sent you one that says, me and my best friend, if we ever get taken hostage because we can't take anything seriously. And it's the two guys from Mission Impossible being like, don't shoot me. Like, so fucking funny. I feel like I sent you another one and it was...
You sent me I think like every other week I get at least one.
Fuck, there's gonna be one. I just need to wait for it to pop up.
Although I kind of love this, but you can tell when like Sarah's just like doom scrolling because you get like 6 at a time.
Oh yeah, it's either nothing at all or it's fucking 10. Like there's no between.
But ever. Like some people complain, being like, "Oh my god, people send me too many," and I'm like, I love it. Like I love when I get like 50 at a time.
I sent you some scary ones too. I'm such a dick.
I think I scared.
I send you like jump scare ones, and I'm like, because the minute I watch it, if I've watched it and it's like it's happening, I'm fucked because now my Instagram is just going to recommend scary videos on my Instagram. So I'm like, if I have to suffer, you have to suffer with me.
Right? The internet is quite the phenomena. I will say that. So much so that I have actually provided a slight brief history.
Oh, are we segueing? Okay, I'm gonna turn this off.
The internet. I have some things.
The internet is a terrifying place.
It's horrible and terrifying, but it's also I find it very, very, very interesting.
Yeah,
and a lot of it has to do with like what I believe to be like a culture of like an alternate reality, which is cyberspace in a sense, and how like just this.
Okay, hold on. This is okay. This I it's in my head, and I'm not going to stop thinking about it until I say it. Oh, you said cyberspace, and I literally thought about. Do you remember that Scooby-Doo movie?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Where they go into the computer,
and it's a video game, and the virus is like chasing them around different like cyber worlds.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
No, actually,
fucking amazing movie.
That was one of the best ones.
I don't know. I think my favorite was the witch one.
Which one was the witch one?
They go to Salem, and there's like the 3 rock stars.
Oh, the Hex Girls.
The Hex Girls. Yeah. I'm a Hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you.
My favorite.
I'm gonna put a spell on you.
They looked like the Powerpuff Girls.
No, they did not.
Yes, they did. The blonde one had pigtails.
If they went on coke, for sure.
Well, yeah. Oh my god.
Phineas. Boundaries.
I have a coffee and he's trying to drink it.
You don't need more energy. You don't need more energy. Come here.
What a rude cat.
Come here.
But he's so cute.
It's a fucking tool. He uses it.
Oh, yeah.
Like a little weasel. You're a little weasel.
I think being cute is the ultimate trait.
When I yell at him, he'll put on the charm. Like he'll lay on his back and show me his stomach, and he's like,
little me, I didn't do nothing wrong.
You're naughty. Okay, continue. Cyberspace.
I just think the internet is such a fascinating aspect, and I think how we behave on the internet is very fascinating. I will kind of make a bit of a disclaimer that, for one, this probably will be a part 2.
Yeah, Spencer said that there'll probably be a 2-parter, so next episode we'll probably end up coming back to this.
100%.
Okay.
I have a bit of like a basic like talk this first episode, but it'll still be very interesting.
Okay.
The next one we get into like deep dives.
Okay, I'm
just
scared.
Like phenomenons.
I'm scared.
Of just like what the fuck, like why? But also I kind of get it because we've done it too. Anyway,
can I help you? What do you want? Can you see that? I don't know if you guys can see that.
Did you see his little paw?
Yeah, he just reached out to me. What?
He's like, don't be mad.
Okay, come here. Come here. Let's cuddle. Cuddle. Lay down. Take a nap.
Go sleep.
Go sleep. Shh.
Go to sleep.
Oh God, Phineas. Phineas, stop.
Knocks it
Stop.
into your teeth. God
Fucking
damn.
cranks me. Lay down. Lay down. I have no authority in this goddamn house. Lay down.
There's a reason why the Egyptians like basically worshipped cats, and that's because they're just so cute.
Well, weren't they considered?
They're like
Like
to
a-
protect evil or
Well, and they
Something.
were considered like a bridge to the underworld or whatever, right? Like
Yeah,
they
something like
were
that.
like spiritually inclined or something. God
Yeah.
damn it, Phineas.
they say that if you have a cat in your house, it'll protect you against like evil spirits. Or spirits in general. I
Yeah,
guess.
but if you have a cat in your house and a human being comes into your house, you're fucked. They ain't doing shit.
Oh no, a cat won't
They'll
do nothing.
proceed to watch you get murdered and then ask you for food after you're dead. Like, that's it.
Then eat your dead body.
Then eat your dead body. I mean, that's a whole new level of love. So as people, like, I've had people say, like, if you died, your cat, like, loves you so little that they would eat you. And I'm like, if anything, that is like a new level of love. I am feeding their life.
They're cleaning up.
Disgusting. Okay, continue.
Okay. So I guess before we get into like specific phenomena of the internet, I found on this random website called like Live Science, sort of like a brief history of the internet,
Phineas,
which I think
sorry,
is hilarious.
I don't know what he's doing with that tripod, but I'm terrified my camera's about to go down. Phineas, come here.
He's like a rebel.
I don't know what he's on right now. I don't have the energy for this. Get your ass over here. Phineas.
He's just sniffy
I
sniff.
don't know what he's sniffing. What is on there?
Honestly, he's probably just like, plastic.
God damn it. He threw up recently and there was a string in it. And I was like,
A string.
why are you eating shit that isn't food?
Because
And I was like, you could have died. Like cats who like eat garbage and stuff, like it can get stuck in their, like it could get stuck in the back of his tooth and then go down his stomach. What is wrong? Phineas? Phineas, look at me. Come here. I have no authority in this house.
he just wants his like face scratched.
I'm just not respected.
This is not your house.
Hey, come here. He's like a fucking child. He just wants the coffee. That is exactly what he was fucking pulling. Can you put it in between us? Oh, there you go. Little shit.
bitch.
All right, okay. We've continue.
Okay.
Fucking watching you, Phineas.
A brief history
Yes.
of how, not so much the internet, but how computers came to be. I just found this so weird and so interesting. So in
Okay.
1801, a French merchant named Joseph Marie Jacquard, whatever,
Phineas, stop.
invents a loom, which is basically like a big wooden machine used to like weave cloth.
Yes.
This design.
Do you know how I know what a loom is?
How?
Because
Because you're a Victorian child.
what is he doing? He's having like a one-on-one relationship with her tripod. He's like
He's like-
dancing with it.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say he's fucking?
Yeah.
No,
The
that's
way he has his
off
arms
camera. That
wrapped
is
around
not what
it?
he had his arm, like his paws wrapped around the leg, but he's not doing anything inappropriate. Let's
Not
make
yet.
sure. Well, I've never seen him do this. The Mabel sisters, or the Mabel
Yeah.
in Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
They have a loom that they give you.
They give you a loom.
I think so, or you find one.
Oh, shit.
Anyways, there's a loom in my island, so I know what a loom is.
Animal Crossing is school.
Yes.
And I stick with that.
Yes. Okay.
So
Yes.
this machine.
So a man made a loom.
Yeah, so this French man made a loom, but this design was actually later used for computers, which in itself I think is just so funny that he made this like big wooden thing and somebody was like, I can make a calculator out of that shit.
A big, oversized calculator.
Right, basically. So in 1821, Charles Babbage, an English mathematician, imagines a steam-powered machine that would be able to calculate table numbers. However, it fails due to lack of technological advantages.
When was this?
1821.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So 200 years ago.
Wow.
Just over 200 years ago. And then 1848, Queen icon Ida Lovelace, sick last name bitch.
Lovelace?
Lovelace.
She loves lace.
She loves lace. She was an English mathematician and the daughter of a poet. She writes what is considered the first ever computer program. So basically, like, she saw...
But there's no computer.
Well, she saw Babbage's notes. And I guess computer at this time, they were making, like... It was essentially like a calculator.
Okay.
So whatever Babbage was trying to do, she kind of, like, made notes about it. And just how it looked was, like, analytical. And it's considered the first computer program because of it.
First computer programmer was a woman?
Was a woman, bitch. Icon. Shout out to Ida Lovelace.
Stop.
I know you're dead. But you're actually, this is 1848.
She's thriving and surviving in heaven with her programming brain.
That's 150 years ago.
That's crazy.
She couldn't vote, but she could, like, program computer. So, like, slay for her. Love
Was
that.
she public about it? Could you be public about something like that?
Yeah. So, like, she was part of, I think, like, the universities. So I think this is, like...
Oh, back when women could just sit and watch. Yeah, but they couldn't actually be a student.
Yeah, I'm not really sure because, like, she has... like, written works. I guess it was, like, in journals. And, like, other women mathematicians were like, no, like, this is her work. She did this. So, like, they vouched for her. And I think that's why her name's, like, kind of out there.
I love that.
Right? And then from 1850 to 1930, there's just more technical advantages. So they took kind of other people's work, like Babbage and Lovelace, and they, like, started to actually make a computer, which was essentially just, like, a very big calculator. I took a class about this.
Did it do anything?
It could, like, I think it could just, like, multiply, divide numbers really quickly.
Okay.
I don't know if it did anything, like, super amazing.
Because at this point, the internet didn't exist.
No. In 1936, we have Alan Turing, who is pretty famous, British scientist. He was a math nerd and a gay icon.
Hell yeah.
He aided in the rise of the Turing machine, which is a computer capable of calculating anything that is computable. So if you, like, any numbers, it could calculate it, essentially.
Wow.
As long as it, like, came to, like, a actual number, which I thought was really cool. He also is the one in the imitation game. So he was...
That's who that's about?
Yeah, so he helped crack the codes, the Nazi codes in World War II, which actually was, I'm pretty sure, one of the big reasons why, like, the Western side won that war.
I've never watched that movie.
I watched it once, and it was actually pretty good.
What is it about? So they found codes?
So, Alan Turing is, like, put onto, like, this small group, actually, of, like, 5 guys, and they had, like, radio. They were able to, like, hear what the Nazis were saying, but it was all coded, and it was a very, like, hard, specific code, and they would change it every day. So these guys would work hours to try to crack the code, and then as soon as it, like, the day ended, like, all of their work that they did was basically, like, it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Because they would kept changing it.
How do you change the code every single day?
Basically, like, I don't even know. I don't really know how. I did one coding class, but it was so simplistic. So it'd be, like, basically, like, you would shift. So, like, B would actually be C. Z would actually be an A. So, like, that's, like, a Caesar shift. But, like, there's complicated ways, like, mathematical ways.
Okay, yeah,
that you can, like, A can equal Y. So if they use Y, it actually is an A sort of thing, right? And they, like...
You've lost me.
It's very... like, coding's so fucked.
So he figured it out?
Basically.
And he figured it out ongoing?
Yeah, like, I think it took probably a year or so, maybe more, for them to, like, actually crack the code. And the only reason they could, according to the movie, was because at the end of every message that the Nazis were sending out, they'd have the same, like, Hail Hitler. So they used just that to crack that Hail Hitler. They used that to crack their fucking code and win the war.
And the code was telling them what? Like, what their plan was?
So yeah, like, it would be, like, Nazis communicating with each other because they know the code. And it would be like, we're going to storm this place, or we're going to attack this ship. And so the fucked up part about it is, like, once they cracked the code, they actually couldn't do anything about it. Because if the Nazis know that America's cracked their code, they're going to switch up their code. And then you're back to square one.
Mm-hmm.
So they just kind of had to listen in silence. And like at some points, like let men go into battles that they know they probably won't win.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
But they were probably waiting for big news. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Hitler's going to be at this location.
They're essentially like tracking them. Even though like they're like, this is like the long run. Like we're here to win the war, not the battles, essentially.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was actually like, it's a really fucking great movie. I was going to say it's really fucked up because he is gay, or he was gay. May he rest in peace. I believe that it was illegal in Britain at the time to be gay. He might have gotten a bit of a pass because of his work and like his genius.
But he might have just secretly like been hiding it.
Well, no. I think at some point people knew. And so they were giving him pills to, I think, like reduce like his sexual desire. But it basically like it numbed him, and he hated it so much that he went back to Jesus. He made the choice to go back to Jesus, which is my way of saying
That's
that.
horrible.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
It's really sad, considering that like he basically helped win the war of World War II. Like one of the biggest wars we've ever had, like historically.
And they're like, you can't love a man.
And they were basically like, thank you for helping. You can't love a man. Here's drugs. Like, what? I think that's fucking insane. Watch the movie.
Okay, I will.
It's Hubert Cumberbatch. Or
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Fuck did I just...
Did you say Hubert Cumberbatch?
I think that's like Salad Fingers, like puppet.
Oh, every time. Every fucking time I hear his name, I think about Salad Fingers.
Right, me too.
My name is Hubert Cumberbatch.
It's Doctor Strange. That's who plays the guy in the movie. It's Doctor
Isn't
Strange.
Keira Knightley in that movie too?
She is, yeah.
Okay.
Because they're like...
I think that movie was like nominated for an Oscar.
It's actually like a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
In your downstairs theater,
Okay.
10 out of 10.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Right? So yeah, like, I mean, he kind of was like involved in the making of computers. Again, it was all about math and like patterns and stuff like that. It wasn't like it is now. 1941, computers are now able to store information in its main memory and complete a task every 15 seconds. This is 1941.
Wow.
So we've already passed, it started in like 1801 when like the loom was invented.
Yeah.
So we're about like 150 years so far.
Holy shit.
And like computers can just learn memory and do a task every 15 seconds.
Oh my God. Okay, pop off.
Right? 1953. Another Queen icon, Grace Hopper, develops the first computer language called COBOL, Common Business Oriented Language, according to the National Museum of American History, and she was rewarded the First Lady of Software.
Holy shit.
Icon.
These women are taking over the fucking
Women
community.
are smart, man. You give them the chance, they're smart. But it's like, what I think is really cool about this, and I skipped over some stuff, but it's like very much like, it'd be like a random year, and it'd be like some random German or American or whatever would like add like a one little piece of information. And then from that information, someone else would develop something else. And then you'd get like a bigger thing from it.
That's usually how it goes.
And it's just like, it's so cool how like,
We invent off of each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
It really is like, it's a joint effort at the end of the day. And then 1968, the first model of a computer with a mouse was introduced and essentially marketed as being accessible.
How the fuck was the computer being used before?
Not for people. Well, like,
Was
you
it just
see-
the typing?
No, you see like the pictures, they're like big, like they're wall size computers. And you'd have wires and you'd have to like take them out and plug them into different places and like rearrange things.
To get a formula?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They maybe had like buttons on it for like type like.
Okay, wait, who invented the mouse?
I think that's Apple. No.
Not here. I'm waiting for Apple to pop up.
The mouse was technically already
I'm waiting
invented.
for our dear save Bill Gates and
Bill Gates
and who the fuck is
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs, thank you.
So I don't
Steven Jobbo.
Steven Jobs. I think that was like some Polish guy. I actually don't know. And then in 1972, Magnavox Odyssey. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong.
Magnavox
Magnavox Odyssey.
is my stripper name.
Welcome to the stage, Magnavox.
That's a fucking poppin' stripper name.
Magnavox.
Magnavox.
Do you know what that is? It's the first at-home game console. I googled it. It's like a block with like a stupid. And you know what the
Magnavox
game?
walked so that Nintendo could run?
Yeah, basically.
Holy shit,
You Google
dude.
it, and like the game, which was released the same year and was like the first nationally like well received game, was Pong.
Yes. I've heard that Pong was the first one.
So like you have this like it's probably the size of that fucking cat bed
Mhm.
with like this dipshit little controller,
Little stick.
and you're playing Pong.
You're doing this.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's actually I was like looking at that and
When
I was like, holy fuck.
this is a little off topic, but it applies. When I was a little girl, and you had your Nintendo,
Mhm.
I wanted like a console, and my parents had like an Xbox and stuff, but I wanted more of the retro games, and my dad ended up finding it was like, it had the arcade stick and the
Mhm.
buttons, and then you plugged it into your old TV, not the flat screens, the fucking square ones that would take you out.
The box, yeah.
Mhm. And it had the green, red, and white cables
Oh
that
yeah.
you'd plug in the back, and you turn it on, and it would have like 20 games that you could play on it. And one of them was Pong. Another one was like the gorilla one, like Kong, when you're climbing
King
up,
Kong. Oh, the one that's like the red ladders.
or Donkey Kong or something.
Donkey
The
Kong, yeah.
ladders, I think, is what it was. The one where it's like the worms and you have to shoot them.
Oh shit.
You know that one?
No. I don't
It's
know
like-
that one. The worms?
Yeah, if you shoot, like, or not worms, but they're like, I don't know if they're like centipedes or whatever, but you have to shoot them at the head, and then you start like, they grow, they'll like link up and they'll grow in size, and you have to like not get hit by them.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
And you were just like a white dot. You weren't like a
Yeah.
person in that one. And then obviously like Pac-Man and stuff like that. It was fun. And Pong was in there. And I was like, I think I played it once and I was like, this is boring.
This sucks. Yeah, it's so slow.
Yeah.
I think it gets fat. I don't know. I think I played it maybe once as a child.
I think it
and
maybe
like,
was on my
no.
BlackBerry, that and like Brick Breaker.
Brick Breaker was fun.
Yeah.
I had fun on Brick Breaker.
Yeah.
I got a BlackBerry. I begged my dad for a BlackBerry just so I could play Brick Breaker. Not even for like BBM.
Oh, BBM.
The original
Fuck.
BlackBerry Messenger.
Well, the original Messenger was MSN Messenger.
I never had MSN. I wasn't.
You never. What?
No.
You never got to hear the terrifying sound of a notification popping in your MSN? Where it go,
I like
shake your whole computer.
heard of it because like I would go on MSN with my friends through their MSN and we'd be talking to people, but I
Oh
wasn't
my
allowed
God.
to have. But I was
The
allowed to
boys
play.
that I had crushed on, I would like share my MSN with them, and like I had MSN before I had like Facebook and shit.
I mean, I don't even think Facebook was around when MSN.
I think it was, but it was only available to university students at the time. Like you needed,
that's funny.
yeah, the beginning of Facebook, obviously, because it was created by like fuck, I can't remember his name.
That dude, Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg, but he was in university when Facebook was created. And correct me if I'm wrong, people, but I think it was like a hot or not list at first. It was like just to see the people at the university. And then when it started to grow, you needed a university number in order to like go and be in Facebook. You needed to prove that you were over 18 and you needed like a university registration number.
So it was like a dating app or like a dating.
It was just like
website?
who was in your university. Yeah, it was kind of like, and people would do like hot or not lists and stuff. Like,
To be honest,
and I think it was started with some other people, and then it grew into obviously what it is now, which is Facebook.
which is for like old people.
But I do know that at that point, it probably did exist. It was just only people over 18 were allowed. This was before you could just tell Facebook, what your birthday was, and you would lie and say you were like 20 years older.
Oh yeah, I think I was like 27
I
when I
think I'm
first joined.
still like
But I was like,
20 years older on my Facebook.
no, I think I corrected mine. I corrected mine when I was probably.
Well,
like
now I
18.
don't really have a Facebook. I just have a Facebook so I can sell stuff on Marketplace or buy stuff. But I'm not friends with anybody on Facebook. Like I deleted my old Facebook account because I I don't know.
It's so stupid now. You don't
I
need
never
it.
use it. Yeah. So okay. Anyways, continue. So we have our first game console.
That was
and
1972.
Pong hit the road.
Yeah.
And impressed everybody with its Pong capability.
Very impressive.
Yes.
1973. Ethernet came to be, which essentially was like the first internet. And
well,
it was
via cable, right?
Yeah, so it was able to connect multiple computers and hardware, essentially.
In the same building?
I think so.
Okay.
It didn't give me a lot of information, but just kind of like snippets. 1975, Microsoft started.
Bill fucking Gates.
Yeah, I think him and one of his buddies was like, oh, we can help program for another company. And then they were just like, nah, we're good at this, and they started Microsoft, which is funny. And then 1976, so a year after, Apple released their first product. 1976.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I've never watched the movie. I think it's with Ashton Kutcher, who plays Steve Jobs. And
I don't think I've seen those movies.
But
that movie.
I know that story describes, like, I think Apple started in like his garage.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
and now they're like the leading company.
Oh,
in computers.
Absolutely. So yeah, like 1983, the world first saw their first laptop, which I think was Apple. Maybe not. But Apple, like, once Apple kind of like started, essentially, after like they kind of came into the picture, most of like the information past the 2000s was about like either Apple releasing new shit, like the Macintosh, which was huge.
That was huge.
Huge.
And actually huge.
Yeah.
The fucking blue one I wanted so bad. I wanted
the pink one.
And then when the flat one came out, the flat screen version of it, I remember in junior high we had all the big Macintosh computers.
Yeah.
So it was all the big square ones. And then they brought in like 4 of the new ones, which was like the flat screen. And in that one, it had the built-in camera. And you could do like the photo booth. And people would fucking elbows like race to this computer so that they could take pictures on photo booth.
I remember when like it would be like Black Friday. Like, people were vicious at the Apple Store when these new things were coming out. And we were, like, still babies, basically. But I do remember those.
I remember that, too. I feel like my kind of first step in Apple was definitely, like, an iPod.
I think I got the iPod Nano when you could, like, circle and it would, like, go through everything.
I think you're right. I think for me it was, and my dad gave it to me. It was his old one. He got a new one, and it was the big square Nano. And I go,
yeah.
And you would,
I had the little skinny blue one.
Oh, I hadn't gotten that one yet, because I was using my dad's, and then I lost it. And I think after that, I don't think I ever had like a Nano. I think like I had MP3 players.
Yeah, same.
Fucking MP3 players. But I think I then got like an iPod Touch.
Yeah,
which was huge.
Same. It was, the reason I wanted it was so you could get that like Zippo app.
Yes.
Where like you could flick it up and pretend you had a lighter. Or the one
that you would drink milk.
Yeah, or I had the beer one.
The beer one. I had the one where you drink milk, or you flip the lighter and then you could blow into the mic and it would sense it and it would like move. Fuck, dude. Those games. What was other games that you played on your iPod that like are legendary games?
Well, I believe one of the bigger ones, maybe this is slightly later on, but it was Fruit Ninja.
Fruit Ninja.
Which
Cut the Rope.
Cut the Rope.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. There's so many.
There was this one that was like, it was like a story one that you would play and you'd be like a character and you'd be like talking to people. And it was like you were in high school and there was like I think you were on the football team and you'd have to like win football games. Fuck, I'm going to have it.
Right? I don't know that one.
It's crazy. I played that game like religiously. And this was before you had to like spend money on like hearts and stuff in the store. Yeah. Once you paid for the app, you had the app.
Exactly. And you didn't have, like, there was no ads at all. Like, what the app was is what the app was.
Yeah.
I had the gingerbread one. I think that might have been later.
The gingerbread one. I forgot about that.
I actually, I went searching for it.
Flappy Bird.
Yeah.
Huge.
Oh, yeah. Flappy Bird.
Yeah.
I don't know if the kids would know that. No, they might know that one.
Flappy Bird was canceled because people were sending the owner like death threats because they kept losing. And so he shut it down.
What a great, so
that's cancel culture in its early stages.
So part of the reason I wanted to go through that,
sorry, keep going.
No, it's okay. But I mean, we're going to segue into like those sorts of like phenomenons.
Okay.
And like I very interesting stuff. So anyways, 1975, Microsoft, 1976, Apple, 1983, the world's first laptop, 1996, shout out the year I was born, Google was developed.
This is definitely going to be a two-parter.
For sure. Oh, and wait, how much time do we have left?
Like 15 minutes.
Okay, so I'm going to get to the interesting stuff next time. Sorry, everybody. This was very interesting.
We're laying roots.
But like, trust me, like get hyped up because I have I'll go over some like, not spoilers, but like hints maybe. Like I'll go over a little bit. 1999, Wi-Fi or wireless fidelity was released and it reached a span.
So at that point, did the internet already exist?
Yes. I believe at some point the internet was like a thing, but like again 1999 nobody had computers still. Like this was still very much a luxury. I
would say the first time I had a computer in the house I would have been like I was living in Harvest Hills, so I had a Nintendo DS.
That was your computer?
No, but that's when my parents had a computer. And it was like a PC. It was like a big computer. I must have been like 7, 8.
I think we had it around the same time. Because I want to say I was probably around the same. I actually didn't care. Like, we had a computer in the house probably when I was around 8.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I touched it till I was about 13. Like, I played computer games, but like, that was it.
Yeah.
I don't think I actually really gave a shit about the computer. But that was back when we had it.
Yeah, that was before the internet. I got interested in, like, Webkinz was like my intro.
Yeah.
No, that's a lie. My intro into computer was the Barbie website.
Oh my god, that's such a throwback.
And the My Scene Girls.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love my My Scene Girls.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And you would like dress them up, and Barbie had different, like you would travel kind of, the Polly Pocket one too.
Oh, I loved that whole, I
think it was all in the same site.
It was.
And it was, they were different categories that you could click on.
What was the site called?
I don't fucking know.
Something, I don't remember what the site was. It was a specific site because it wasn't just Barbie.
No, it was like you would go, they had like categories and sections, and each section was a world that you would enter into. And there was the Polly Pocket world, there was the Barbie world. Barbie world had like a baby that you would like take care of, and like dogs that you would like brush, and you could like take Barbie to the salon. And then Polly Pocket, same thing, you could take Polly to the salon and do her hair.
Like design her room.
You could design her room. You could drive in the car, in that jacuzzi car. I had that fucking car.
I can still hear, like, I couldn't say it, but I can hear the music in my head.
Me fucking too. And then the My Scene one was like downtown New York kind of vibes. It was like Soho, New York.
Yeah, it was like the older girl.
And it was like there was 4 of them, and you could do her hair, like you could, whoever you picked, you could do their hair. They like went on a date. Like you would plan what they would look like before they go on the date with the guy. Yeah.
See, these are
you would do their nails and
right?
stuff. Fucking crazy.
So that's the end of my like thing was like 1999. There was Wi-Fi. It reached a span of 300 feet or 91 meters.
Pop off.
Right?
300 feet. That's amazing.
And then essentially after the 2000s, it's just like a fight between Microsoft and Apple, just releasing new things sort of thing.
Was it often Apple released it and then Microsoft released it from what you saw?
Microsoft is more so like softwares, whereas Apple more so dealt with like the actual like luxury product.
I would agree. And like I feel like they were like products in and of itself, whereas Microsoft, they obviously kind of like delved into that with the Xbox.
Yes.
And like creating video games that were Xbox exclusive games, because PlayStation was, now granted, PlayStation isn't Apple, PlayStation is Sony.
Yes.
But Sony created PlayStation. Sony's Japanese.
Yeah.
So they created the PlayStation, and then Microsoft leaned into video games as well. But Microsoft, I would consider them to like, they might become obsolete. Maybe not. Like Xbox, I know there's people who love Xbox, but I would say more collectively, people often are PlayStation gamers.
Mhm.
People, like when you talk to people who gamed 9 times out of 10, they played the PlayStation.
I actually don't think I know anybody that like will reach towards their Xbox. I don't like my boyfriend and all his friends, they play the PS.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you might be the only person I know that owns an Xbox.
yeah,
I don't even
my dad had bought the Xbox, and he had bought the Xbox with it was like a package deal, and it was the Xbox, and then Halo was attached to it. So it was the first game that you got when you bought the Xbox. And I think I have a certain sense of loyalty to Xbox just solely because I loved Halo. Halo was the first console video game I ever played, and I played it with my dad, and it was like something that through the years of our lives, and when my dad met my mom, and I gained like siblings and grew up with my brothers, we would continue to play Halo with each other. So it's like a nostalgic thing for me, but I don't have an Xbox in my house. Like, we just have the PlayStation.
I mean, I'm a little bit biased, but I think I follow the same way just with Nintendo because I grew up, my dad and I played
There's a certain
Legend
sense
of
of
Zelda.
loyalty. Yeah.
So, but I also I think I prefer Nintendo games. I wish there was actually more aside from just like all the Mario franchises.
I agree.
I do wish that they expanded because I think
they've
Nintendo's
never
so cool.
really expanded. It's always kind of been like a pocket version.
I think they when they came out, they like got a few hits, the first Legend of Zelda and probably like a couple Mario games, and they're like, okay, we're like hitting the ground running. At some point they had like Animal Crossing, and they're like, add that to the trio.
Yeah.
And I think that's their like Mario games, Legend of Zelda, and Animal Crossing's like their big 3.
Well, and they expanded on the Mario universe.
Yeah.
And then they expanded on the Legend of Zelda universe. But like, a lot of the games that I play on my Switch outside of that are often
like indie games.
Indie games, yeah.
Yeah.
Like smaller, more casual based games. I feel like Nintendo's for the gamer who isn't like an intense like first person shooter. Like, you don't have those kind of games. Even like
you're not on the mic like with like Animal Crossing. Like, you fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, there's no toxicity in Nintendo. No. But I think Nintendo also, like, they've kept themselves to a certain limit in terms of like, their consoles can only process so much information. So like the Switch is great, but games that Sony has made, such as like Hogwarts, the Switch inherited that, but the Switch in of itself is not capable of processing that information. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, I feel like it's definitely like the Switch becomes a little bit obsolete, but if you're looking for just like a game that you can kind of just play out of pocket and just go for it, like the Nintendo DS was super known for that.
Yeah. Which
the
is
Game Boy was the original of that, right?
Absolutely. Which is funny too, because like on the thing, which I keep meaning to add you to the email, and I will, I promise.
But what the fuck, Doc?
Part of like the big call for the Switch is you can get all the older games for the Switch, or for like Nintendo.
Yeah.
So you can get the ones from the Game Boy, the N64, which is like probably nostalgic for half the population
for
of
sure,
like Western society.
For sure.
So it's funny how like they do come out like we've talked about it. Their newer Legend of Zelda movie is fucking insane. Like the amount of effort and work and like the beauty of the game is so intense. But like outside of that game, there isn't a lot just like that besides other Zelda games.
They're definitely like one, even just outside of like, Zelda, all games that they kind of create. There's not really this open world concept in a lot of the games the way that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom brought.
Right.
Whereas with so many games in like PlayStation, they're all open world. So and then of course like the original is like the PC games. Like you can have any and all games on PC.
Did you have first of all,
I was never really a PC gamer.
This is like a wild thing to think about, but back in our day, in the early 2000s, you could buy a box of cereal and it would have a disc in it, like a CD inside of the box.
Yeah.
And it would either be a movie, I think, or a PC game.
A PC game.
I got a PC game and it was Pajama Sam 2. It was the second one. And that was my favorite.
What was the game about?
So you were this little kid and your mom is like, it's dinner time, you can't have snacks. So you sneak into the pantry to grab a box of cookies, and then you get sucked into this world where everyone's food. And like being like I think like junk food is like illegal in this, like it's like run by vegetables.
This sounds like Sausage Party,
It's
like the movie. This sounds like that.
But like for children.
But for children.
Like,
no one's having
the food's
like
not
food orgies.
each
Yeah.
other.
I cannot believe that they pulled that shit.
Yeah, so like you get sucked into this world where like you're hanging out with a bunch of candy, and then like you get busted by the vegetables and like locked in jail, and you essentially have to collect like these box toppers to like get a doll, and then you're trying to like solve puzzles to get out of this world.
Wow.
It was so much fun.
That's
for
like
a
high
little
level.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, like the PC games that I remember was like the Harry Potter one.
I don't think I played that one.
That one was pretty fun, but it also kind of scared me because like you'd go into the castle at the bottom and it was always kind of like a little sketch.
Right.
I played Barbie something. If you guys can hear that, our window's open. Do you hear that noise?
Yeah, kind of. What is that?
That's a truck.
Really? Oh, just running? Like idling?
I honestly think what they're doing is they're paving. So the city is going to be paving our alleyway soon because we just like, if you drive in our alleyway, this is a side note, but it's funny. It's like you're fucking off-roading. It's like you're like bumping and like the fucking holes in our alley. And often they'll fill the holes, but last summer, one of our neighbors was like, I'm fucking tired of like waiting. Like we've had holes in our alley for like 3 months and they just keep getting increasingly worse and no one's come, like the city hasn't come by to fill any of them. So we ended up signing like, not like a petition, but like a city like request, and we got enough people on our street to sign it. So they were like, we'll pave your guys' alleyway. And I think they're only charging us like $25 more like a month. Like it's fucking cheap.
Okay.
So our road's going to be paved. There'll be a concrete alleyway, and I'm so fucking excited. But they're doing it soon because I saw a bunch of construction. I like drove out of my alleyway on like Friday, and there was like 50 construction guys at the end of the alley, just like in the middle of the street. And I was like, I have to get through.
10 points each.
And no one moved.
10 points each.
I was like, hello? I'm a car. Like, I can hit you. And they were like, oh, you're sorry. And I was like, and I got scared because they were all like surrounding my car, and I'm like, "You're gonna jump me? Like, what's happening?" I'm very scared right now. So I think that's probably what they're prepping for. But we have our window open because like we don't like it feels very congested in here. So yeah, I hope the noise isn't distracting. But
the summers get like that. The houses get so hot because not a lot of houses have air conditioning. It's not like a
we
necessity.
do have AC, but I just think like it's just like it feels a little. It feels a little
hello.
It feels a little like not musty, but like
dusty.
Dusty maybe is the right word.
Musty dusty.
Anyways, let me finish my thought. I played a Barbie game, and I think it was like a Barbie skate game where you were like an ice skater.
Oh, I think I played that one too.
Yeah, and then the Harry Potter one, and I think that was it. My dad would play like Age of Empire and fucking like Risk and like those games, but I never played.
My dad played.
I think I tried it once and I did not like it.
no, those games were
those.
not fun. My dad played a game where he was like in ancient Egypt and was like building a society.
Oh, amazing!
Which I kind of loved.
Yeah,
but not me.
No,
I was like, I was either playing like those disc games.
You know what? Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I played that later in life because I was like, I've never played this.
Roller Coaster and Zoo Tycoon.
I played the Zoo one was fun.
The Roller Coaster Tycoon one was fun, but I never had enough money, and people were always throwing up on my street.
How rude!
And so I'd have to hire a bunch of cleaners. Or the bathrooms would get filled. Fuck.
Have you seen the ones where people do like wild shit, like make people go underground? And then they get hit with like a giant hammer or something.
What?
Or like it's wild. People do like crazy shit with
I
that.
need to go down like a rabbit hole today and just look at old footage of these games. Like,
it's so fun.
I feel like I'm making this up because I don't remember visually exactly what it looks like, but I know. I remember sitting in my dad's car, and we used to drive back and forth from Calgary to Lethbridge because my dad was dating my stepmom. Mm-hmm. And I would play Roller Coaster Tycoon in the back of the car while we were driving, and his laptop, and it would like, you only had like an hour's worth of juice.
I was gonna say that wouldn't last very long.
No, it didn't. Yeah, that was fun. And it was so heavy. It was like one of those brick laptops. Yeah. Okay, we went off track. We're hitting our hour mark here.
Okay. Thank you for coming for the first half of this.
Well, do you want to is there a way you can nicely tie it up in a bow?
So part of me is the reason I kind of wanted to go through that. It's just it's just funny how the internet came to be, because realistically, Mr. Babbage was I want a calculator.
Yeah.
That was run by Steam. And these days, it's want to my titty post? The trajectory.
I would say we're hitting it. I think this is a really good middle ground of this episode, because we're now in the 2000s. We're in the early 2000s, and the transition of the internet and just technology in the early 2000s to the 2020s is fucking in 20 years we've had massive technology changes. And it's there's always that kind of statement. I've heard people say this, that our generation is going to be the last generation to know life before the internet.
Yes.
Before technology.
Yes.
And that is a crazy thought to think.
Wild.
That we understand VCRs and having to go outside and play because there was nothing to do inside.
Yeah.
And this kind of change of scenery with having the internet, having just everything at your fingertips, and now almost hitting the opposite of the world now, where it's the internet is so overly saturated.
Yeah.
And there's so much information out there, and 85% of it is not accurate information.
Yeah.
It's before we had not enough, and it was kind of you'd hear about a new movie not because you saw an ad for it on Instagram, but through word of mouth. Or you'd walk into Blockbuster and you'd see the movie on display, and because it was a movie on display, you then determined that it was a good quality movie. Whereas now, when you see a movie that's been advertised, you can go to the internet immediately and read thousands, hundreds upon thousands of reviews as to why this movie may or may not be good.
Yep.
And it's just to go from some kind of self-sufficient mindset of kind of doing your own, or the things you would do wasn't necessarily because you just did it was because your family did it, and now it's I do this now because somebody on the internet told me.
I'm glad you pointed that out too, because we've said this a lot before, but I'm not gonna try to beat the dead horse, but we do live in a generation where we're kind of split in between of no technology and technology. Yeah. And so I think that shift of this new age of the normalization of technology and how it's used too as well is really weird for us, because it's yes, we're a part of it, but we also remember when it wasn't a thing.
Or there wasn't the dark side of it, right? The internet was only just fun things. And then all of a sudden things were being infiltrated, and there was a huge issue when we were teenagers about people promoting not talking to strangers on the internet because you didn't actually know who you were talking to. Now it's not as common. I would say it happens in different shapes and forms. But it was a huge thing back where movies were being posted and people were talking about how a young girl would think she was talking to another young girl, and then she'd go meet up and it was a fucking 50-year-old man. Yeah. And it was a huge issue for a period of time. And now you don't really see that because it's being, I think, approached in a different manner. But it's all of a sudden something that was considered to be safe, that your parents don't really have an understanding on, you're entering into this world. Omegle started off as a chat that you could talk to other friends with. It was wild. It was a video chat site. It was so lighthearted, and now you see people who go on Omegle and it's penis every 5 seconds.
That place did get shut down, thank God. But I
Omegle
remember
isn't on now?
No, it did get shut down. Which thank the Lord, because I was 13 on that website, and it'd be these gross old men with their tiny micro penises just jacking off, and you'd have to skip. But even if you try to skip as fast as you could,
you're still seeing a penis.
You always saw it.
Yeah, for sure.
And they wouldn't skip you. You would have to skip them.
Yeah.
It was wild.
But it was like a game. Like, we would know what we were doing when we agreed to go on Omegle, but we would do it anyways.
Oh, yeah.
And then every now and then you'd run into another group of girls who were doing the same shit that you were doing, and then you talk about it, and then you move on. Like, or you meet like a cute guy on Omegle, and like just and it was like international, so you were meeting people across the world.
You were talking to people from like Israel or like Japan, or like anywhere in Europe. It was actually kind of wild.
Yeah,
but it paved the way for like a new form of internet, which we are very much a part of now, and is like developed to be what it is. A lot of that has to do with anonymous. I can't fuck that word. Anonymous internet haters.
Yes.
Trolls. And this idea that like you could have an alter ego online. You could be user 3016.
Yeah.
And like no profile and just go on and say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Yeah. And that your opinion or insight can dramatically impact somebody's well-being.
Yeah, and people willingly do it. Like, you can't say that like people who hate don't know what they're doing, because they think they do.
Oh, for sure. But
it's so easy, but it's also normalized in the sense that like, you know, you're gonna get haters. You know that someone's gonna log on, it could be this video, and just say, Spencer, you're a stupid fucking bitch. Yeah. And I hope you get hit by a truck.
Why would we ever watch you? Like, what the fuck? And it's like, I know that's such a crazy concept, and it's so easier said than done to be like, don't look at that shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, now it's at your fingertips, and like you could just happen to see a comment and it could ruin your whole day. And it's just like, this toxicity that obviously we'll talk about in the next episode, which has transitioned into now massive waves of impact, and causing people to like lose their sense of stability in their life because something was said that a group of people don't like, and they come for this person and destroy their life. Like, this massive negativity that has developed on the internet is just insane. Although I would care to argue that the younger generations who are coming into this world and understanding a little bit about the internet, having millennial parents who are now raising a new generation who understand the internet and the implications and the dangers involved, and, you know, all these kind of things. I'm seeing a very quick change of, even though the trolls continue to exist, people just stop fucking caring.
That's a great point. I think people, and we'll like I said, we'll definitely get into it for the next episode for the part 2. But I think people have an understanding of like a troll, what they are, why they're there.
Yeah.
And yeah, people just don't, there's like this attitude of like, I don't give a fuck, which I kind of like. I like this attitude of like, you can think what you want of me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
You get 5 seconds of my life and however many, whatever, you know, you're seeing a snippet of who I am, not my entirety.
Yeah.
And I may talk about certain aspects of my life, but you ultimately don't understand who I am. And you're determining your statement based on either a persona of a person that, because a lot of people on the internet, they're not necessarily like PewDiePie, I think is a really good example. He played this crazy, chaotic, screaming into the mic gamer for the first like 5 years of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And now when you watch his videos, he's fucking chill. He's not screaming, he's not yelling, he's still funny, but he's just himself. He's just being who he is. Whereas before, a lot of gamers early on, Markiplier would be the same, Jacksepticeye, you have these people who were playing these crazy, chaotic gamers because they had this persona for the internet, but you're not always that person. But then you're determining this person to be who they are based on what you see in an hour's worth of a video. And it's like, you cannot determine who this person is when you haven't even fucking met them.
You make such a great point. I'm so glad you brought that out, because another part of the internet phenomena that I find so interesting, but is very prevalent, and we are, we partake in this as well.
For sure.
And it's parasocial relationships, this idea of a parasocial relationship, which we will get into, but how they develop and how people feel like they know somebody when
Mhm.
realistically, like, you have no idea who the fuck these people are. Just
Mhm.
because you see them on a screen and they might tell you something personal.
Well, you're spending hours with these people.
You
Like
spend
live
hours?
streamers, I feel like
Yeah.
are a really good example of that. Okay, we have to stop because we're hitting over our hour mark. This is very interesting.
It's super interesting.
I hope you guys liked this information. Thank you, Spencer, for hosting this episode.
No
Yay!
problem. Thank you I know part 1 is maybe like the least of the interesting stuff,
Mhm.
but that's just more hype for part 2. And
Yes.
we really get into like the actual phenomenons and like
Mhm.
maybe some psychological reasons as to why they happen.
Fuck yeah.
But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. It's fun to research this
I
shit.
did. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Our 4 subscribers.
4 of them.
All
Yay!
of our, yay!
Even
All
number.
of our 4 subscribers. Honestly, it doesn't even matter. Like I saw the number recently because I was just uploading videos and it tells you how many numbers you have. I really don't ever, with any of the stuff that I make in Twitch, like when I'm live streaming, when I'm making my own videos for my own channel, when we're making videos for this channel, I really don't pay attention to the numbers because ultimately, again, you get caught in this, and we can talk about this a little bit more in the next episode because it plays into it.
Absolutely.
And you know, I guess I've had my own like handful of experience in it, even though it's minor, and you know, I'm not like a prevalent internet person.
Mhm.
The concept of like counting the numbers and determining your worth and content that you bring, even though it's helpful to understand how you can grow and develop as a content creator, it can become a very dangerous, it's a catch-22 because all of a sudden now, if you're not getting the response that you want, you start to determine your own self-worth because of it.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that in the next episode and like my own experience. And, you know, I went off Twitch for a few years because of the rabbit hole I went down. And, you know, why did I decide to come back and like all this kind of stuff. We can talk about that.
Super interesting.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining, everybody.
You can follow us on these lovely links here that's showing right now. Our amazing editor, he will put them there. You can follow us at, I need to memorize what platforms they are, but our leading titles, because we have 2 separate titles, I think it's for Instagram and for YouTube. Again, he will put it here for us. But you can follow us at the dysfunctional dash duo, or you can follow us at dysfunctional dash duo. Either way you put us in, you'll probably find us. But we will actually have the titles here. It's just, I would love to have our title just be one title, but everyone and their mother has usernames that you try to like. I've been trying to get Sarah K for my Twitch for so fucking long, but there's a Sarah K that exists in this world.
Fuck that Sarah K.
Fuck her.
Fuck you, Sarah K.
So it's like, not actually fuck you. I think you're probably a really wonderful person. We share very similar names. I can appreciate. Anytime you look up Sarah K right now, it's like a poet, slam poet like girl.
That's hot.
She's actually pretty fucking great. She did like a slam poetry for TED Talks, and I was like, I would be friends with this girl.
I love slam poetry.
Cynthia.
Cynthia.
You're dead. You dead.
You have died.
Anytime I think of slam poetry, I think of that fucking scene.
That's the best. That's one of the funniest movies.
Cynthia. Okay. You guys have a wonderful week. We will see you next week for part 2 of this episode.
Please get
part
excited.
2 of this topic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know how. Oh, I need to ask you a closing question.
Okay, please do.
What will I ask you?
Oh, okay.
Well, we always do
Unprepared.
like just like a random question.
I haven't thought of any questions to ask people recently.
Okay, if you could eat something for the rest of your life, like one thing only, what would it be?
Is it like a specific dish, or like can I pick can I just say pasta?
Yeah, you could say pasta.
Okay, I pick pasta. Just any and all pasta.
Love it. Mine would be potatoes.
Just any and all potato.
Any and all potatoes.
Honestly,
The
word.
potato, I would have a potato and I would make things with it.
Yeah, like I'd have pasta.
There's a lot of variety.
Yeah.
But now you get no sauce.
Oh shit! I don't get sauce.
You get seasonings, but you don't get sauce.
Well, what the fuck? Okay, I changed my mind.
No, it's too late. Your decision's been made. You're going to live on pasta for the rest of your life.
Just pasta.
Your reality has now
Can I put
changed.
butter on it at least?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll fuck
Seasonings,
that.
but not sauce. Like you couldn't have Alfredo or like tomato sauce, but you could have like salt, pepper, butter, olive oil, stuff like that.
I think I could make that work.
Buttered noodles for the rest of your life.
Fuck it. What else would I eat for the
Buttered
rest
noodles
of my
are
life?
actually really good.
Maybe eggs.
I'm still trying to figure out how to really refine my buttered noodle dish. Sometimes it's just a little too greasy.
Do you burn the butter?
No, I just feel like sometimes it's a little flavorless.
Okay, try chili salt or chili flakes, or lemon juice.
Thank you for the tip. I will.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was so genuine. I will.
All right, guys. We'll see you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.